Budget and Finance.
Okay, motion to accept subject to audit the consolidated expenditure report for the month of November 2009 totaling $172,999.20.
Second that.
Motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unopposed? Motion passes.
I was not here last Wednesday. I know there was discussion regarding the Newtown Corporation 2009 donation as well as the Newtown Corporation 2010. And before I get into motions on the budget, I wanted to move that up to the top of the list. I see we have a handout from Chris regarding the Newtown Corporation, and I don't know.
I think that's for her report this month.
Okay, so that's for, I just want to make sure I'm not out of line on that. But we have a decision to make on the donation for 2009.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this at length in the meeting. We agreed we would go back and come back and look at the motion at today's meeting. So, I mean, I'm looking for a motion to release our donation, 2009 donation to Newtown Corporation of $5,000.
So moved.
We have a second?
I'm going to make a second. Having been absent from last week's meeting, I understand in just conversation I've had with a few folks in town, there was, I think, a demonstration that they had more than met a smell test of providing adequate services for the $5,000 contribution, so I will second it.
Okay, discussion? Anyone from public? Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Before you know, I was pretty clear at the work session of my concern about the inappropriate use of the logo in a political piece. And I still have that concern. What I would like to see is the Newtown Corporation take accountability for that action or to give an explanation for how that potentially could have occurred and have that in writing. And I haven't seen that, and I had a conversation with Mr. Salvatore actually right before the meeting, and I know there's conversations about doing that, and but I'm still concerned and conflicted about that. So.
Okay. That's a good point.
I also wanted to weigh in on this. I echo Gerard's concerns, and I went back and thought about what the corporation has done over 2009, because in fact we are providing this money basically at the end of their budget as opposed to the beginning of their budget. And so I wanted to go back and remind myself what the corporation had done for the borough in the early part of the year, and then thought about what how the corporation had been responding towards the end of the year. And clearly, if we had had this vote in May, it would have been a much easier decision for me, because there have been a lot of good things done. As you know, I'm a big supporter of the Newtown Creek Coalition and those activities and so on, and I've been very pleased with the support that that group had received, particularly in getting the grant and so on, which I think is very valuable for the community. So like I said, if we had voted in May, that would have been very easy. The problem, of course, that has come about, and not to belabor the issue of the logo, but what concerns me greatly is going forward. And so whereas I will be considering the donation for 2009 in a better light, I will not be considering the 2010 in the same light. So I think that's all I want to say about that.
Any other comments? Call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unopposed?
No.
Oh, one opposed. Motion passes 5-1. I'm also looking for a motion to include a donation of $5,000 as is currently reflected in the 2010 budget.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I don't have the benefit of last week's meeting, so I'm at a loss to go forward with it, other than if the plans are to continue to support the efforts of Newtown Borough, as they have done in the past. And I go back to the presentation they made back in 2008, wherein they came in and demonstrated to us what we had received for the $20,000 we had initially invested in them and how it benefited the town. You know, if the spirit of that activity continues, I will second the motion.
Can I ask a question on the motion? Could we make it contingent upon another successful engagement with the township like we did in past years?
I think
In
that's
January,
completely
and so that we can all align behind the vision, mission, and what they want to get accomplished for next year, and how we fit into the picture. And then I could get completely behind that motion.
Could I, just further clarification, as I understand the motion was, or the action being taken on 2010 is to include it as a line item in the 2010 budget, am I correct?
Right.
Right.
So, once again, the actual disbursement of the payment of those monies would be contingent, frankly, upon what council next year feels to be appropriate, be it a joint meeting with the township or some other benchmark.
And I think so. I think it would be appropriate to have the conditions on the motion. Otherwise, it's just the
Business as
put it
usual.
a budget item that we're going to be voting on in the 2010
Well,
budget.
my point is that it is a budget item. It's a line item. It's $5,000, which is being put into the budget next year, but is not being paid until a council next year decides it should be paid. Am I correct? And if so, it is as simple as a line item. And you're our finance
Yeah.
officer.
But I think even this year's line item had a contingency on it, which was to have the bylaws agreed to. And as it turns out, the bylaws didn't change, so we didn't have to have that contingency.
That's correct.
So there was a contingency on the
Yes.
last line item, and I'm just suggesting we
And
have a
I think
contingency.
it makes sense to have that
Yeah.
contingency, to feel that you have moved in that direction. And Rand, did you want to modify your motion?
Absolutely.